Hello there guys and welcome to Sunday's live stream. I'm JWF1 and we are here for day 3 here at the Circuito DRF Angel Nieto circuit and here for the final 2 days of pre-season testing. If you didn't see what happened in day 2 yesterday, a very interesting test, but in the end for the second day in a row it was Charles Leclerc who topped the session in the Eldorado, followed by Lewis Hamilton again and the two EMR running suit behind them yet again, but this time Vettel ahead of Hulkenberg, unlike day 1 where it was Hulkenberg in front of Vettel. So hopefully it should be quite an interesting day. We've got bright and sunny conditions yet again here at the Circuito DRF Angel Nieto circuit, and hopefully it could be a very interesting day as well. So before we start then guys, let's have a quick look at the drivers taking part in today's race, and as you can see, let's go through them. So for Etihad you'll be seeing Lewis Hamilton and Daniel Ricciardo yet again. EMR you'll be seeing Nico Hulkenberg and their test driver Felipe Massa. Eldorado you'll be seeing Charles Leclerc and Valtteri Bottas. Bud Light Lime, Romain Grosjean and Sergio Perez. GRM Esteban Ocon and Arjun Maini. Suomi, Kevin Magnussen and Heikki Kovalainen. Not Nico Kari, as I said yesterday. I do apologise for that. Martini, you'll be seeing Max Verstappen and George Russell. AMP, Stoffel Vandoorne and Mick Schumacher. British Airways Racing, Nick De Vries and Oliver Rowland. Shadow Mercedes, Pierre Gasly and Carlos Sainz Jr. And over at Mars Grand Prix, you'll be seeing Felix Rosenqvist and Ed Jones. So they are the drivers taking part in today's test. As mentioned, bright and sunny conditions. So I think without further ado, let's get to the penultimate day of pre-season testing. So, here we are then in the pit lane, and we're going to go to the end of the pit lane with, who's at the end of the pit lane? It is Sergio Perez. So we'll wait and get the session underway. It is of course an hour session, TV graphics in full view, and who's going to get out on track first of all, out of the cars that are currently in the pit lane at this moment. And we look at Sergio Perez. Bud Light Lime not having the best of days, but hoping to try and rectify that if they can today. As out on track, the first one to go out on the track is Pierre Gasly for Shadow Mercedes. So Gasly out on the track he goes, as he makes his way around turn 1 on the racetrack. And then into turn 2 he will now go. And I've still forgot to try and move the numbers down. I do apologise for that. And I need to really try and remember that on the back of my head if I can, but probably because I was in a rush today, because it was a bit of a rush to get from here from the F1 race that just happened just half an hour ago actually. Fernando Alonso's final race in that, and he also obviously had his final top class race a few months ago actually at the end of season 4, and it was a good send off for his career. Also out on track we have Kevin Magnussen for Suomi, Felix Rosenqvist out there as well, as is Charles Leclerc, Max Verstappen, Carlos Sainz Jr., Romain Grosjean, Sergio Perez, Lewis Hamilton out there as well, along with Stoffel Vandoorne, Nico Hulkenberg out there as well, as is Mick Schumacher, Oliver Rowland, George Russell out there as well, and we're back now with Pierre Gasly just making his way around the bust-up chicane, and just going out of that second to last turn. And Gasly now then up towards the final corner he goes, as he prepares himself to start his first flying lap. And Gasly heads down the pit straight now then, along with Magnussen who's currently behind him. Gasly now then starting his lap, heading up towards turn 1. So through the first corner he goes, just flicking the car in through that turn, into turn 2, which is a hairpin. And again just flicking the car in, flat out through turn 3, and then also into turn 4 as well. As Gasly now then up towards the medium speed turn 5. Let's see what his first split is going to be like. It's a 25.385 in the first sector that time by. Gasly heads down the hill towards the hairpin on the track of turn 6. Gasly flicks it in now then, as Gasly uses the curve on the outside, and we've already got a yellow down at turn 5. So who's the culprit down at turn 5? Is it Kevin Magnussen? And no, it isn't. Maybe Rosenqvist. It isn't him either. It's Charles Leclerc, actually. Leclerc, who's topped the first 2 days of testing, has actually gone for a spin. Very lucky not to sustain some damage, but Leclerc gets a flick of oversteer out of turn 5 and spins it off. So Leclerc's first lap already wrecked as a result of the spin. Let's have a look then. So he goes around turn 5 and then just catches a massive amount of oversteer. Isn't able to correct it. Very lucky, in fact, to not sustain some damage from that touch on the barrier. But Leclerc, obviously his first lap ruined as a result, and now probably just waiting for a gap in the traffic as Gasly now then makes his way around the left-hander up towards the double right-handers of Angel Nieto. A 49.003 there for Pierre Gasly, and we are expecting him to see him in the Etihad tomorrow, along with Charles Leclerc as well. So both of those Etihad drivers also having a chance to go in that car tomorrow. Out of the bus stop chicane there, then goes Pierre Gasly as he will now approach the final corner at Lorenzo, and let's see what the benchmark time is going to be for Pierre. Yellow flags still out of that corner. Leclerc taking a little bit long there to get out of there, but eventually he does get himself going. Gasly crosses the line. It's a 1 minute 19.512, not the quickest we've seen. Kevin Magnussen across the line. He goes fastest by 0.2 of a second. Felix Rosenqvist slots to third in the Mars Grand Prix car. Verstappen goes fastest by 0.3 of a second. Carlos Sainz Jr. slots to fourth in the shadow. Here is Romain Grosjean. Can he find some time to improve, unlike the other days? Grosjean crosses the line, and he's good enough for sixth. Sergio Perez slots in behind in seventh, but I'm still struggling. Hamilton goes fastest by 0.2 of a second, so Hamilton to the top of the timing sheets there. I think that might be the quickest we've seen all weekend at the moment, as Van Dorn slots himself to ninth, so clearly struggling in that car. Hulkenberg crosses the line to go third fastest, so slots behind Verstappen. Here's Mick Schumacher, crosses the line to go sixth in the AMP. Ollie Rowland slots to 12th. Here is Charles Leclerc just finishing off his ruined lap. See what he can do anyway. And a 1:59.724, not the best first lap we've seen. Looks like Russell must have made a mistake as well, because he's way off the pace down in 13th. So he must have made a mistake somewhere to be 4 seconds off Lewis Hamilton. I don't think that's a representative time. He must have made a mistake somewhere. I wouldn't be surprised if he improves just a little bit on this mileage run. It is Pierre Gasly, currently 5th at the moment. Can he find a little bit more time in the car to improve? So he now makes his way into the final corner at Lorenzo. Gasly now then heads down the pit straight, and the Frenchman now then will come across the line. Can he improve? No, he can't. Remains in 5th. Here is Kevin Magnussen, crosses the line, remains 4th. Here is Felix Rosenqvist, across the line he will go, and he remains 8th. Max Verstappen remains where he is at the moment. Carlos Sainz Jr., what can he do? Remains 7th. Romain Grosjean, can he find a little bit of time in the car to improve? Across the line goes the Frenchman, and he remains 9th for the moment. Sergio Perez remains 10th. Lewis Hamilton doesn't improve. Here is Stoffel Van Dorn in the AMP, currently 11th, as he makes his way down the pit straight. And Van Dorn crosses the line and remains 11th with that lap. Nico Hulkenberg, across the line he goes, remains in 3rd. Had a huge crash in real life earlier today. Thankfully he was alright from that massive rollover, as it's 6th there for Mick Schumacher. Oliver Rowland remains 12th. Charles Leclerc, he'll obviously improve on this lap, but by how much? Let's see. Leclerc across the line, and he goes 5th fastest on that mileage run, so over to P5 he goes. Russell decides to come back into the pit, so probably clearly must have had his tyres shot from that mistake as a result. I'm surprised Leclerc didn't go into the pits then that time by, if that's the case. So yeah, that's that really. So at the moment, it is currently Hamilton at the top, Verstappen 2nd, Hulkenberg 3rd, Magnussen in 4th, Leclerc 5th, Gasly 6th, Schumacher 7th, Sainz in 8th, Rosenqvist in 9th, followed by Grosjean 10th, Perez 11th, Van Dorn 12th, Rowland 13th, and Russell in 14th position. So that's how it looks at the moment, as we'll actually go to Leclerc actually, as Massa prepares himself to go out onto the track. His 3rd day out as an EMR test driver. He's actually the reserve driver for the team as well. He's been nominated the reserve driver for the team, according to James Wallows. So if any of their drivers run into problems, Vettel or Hulkenberg, like a banner runs into an injury, then Massa will step in. So they've kind of confirmed that really. He's pretty much the proper reserve driver for the team, and so far he's proven himself at the moment. He did quite a good job in those final 2 days at Paul Ricard to be in the top 3. Can you keep that up to date though? EMR also looking quite strong in this area, it must be said, keeping with the Eldorados and the Etihads at the moment. So those 3 teams looking to be the strongest at the moment in these tests, as everybody's into the pits, as we soon now wait for another set of cars to go out on the track. Everybody keeping quiet at the moment in the pit lane, it must be said. And so we'll just look for another car to go out, and we've got one now in the form of Ed Jones and Felipe Massa. So both of these guys going out the track. Massa hoping that Jones doesn't become a bit of a headache in front, but Jones now then out on track for Mars Grand Prix. So he now makes his way around the hairpin now, then just going out of the corner through the left-hander and using the curb on the outside there then, and the Emirates driver just preparing himself for his first flying lap. Through the right-hander he goes, As Massa behind him, also getting prepared as well, heading down the hill towards turn 6. Massa hoping he doesn't get held up by Jones in any way, shape or form. Through turn 6 goes Ed now then, as he will now make his way around this left-hander, using the curb on the outside, flicking the car in through this left-hander now then, up towards the double right-hander of Angel Nieto, using the curb on the outside round this right-hander. Jones now then up towards the bus stop chicane, to the right, then the left, and then into the right-hander will go Jones, as he just makes his way around the right-hander, and then up towards Lorenzo corner will go Ed Jones, as he now makes his way down the pit straight. And let's see what Jones can do then on this lap, as he is about to start a lap. As Massa also on track as well. We also have Daniel Ricciardo out there, Valtteri Bottas, Nick de Vries, Kevin Magnussen, Esteban Ocon, Carlos Sainz Jr. We also have Romain Grosjean, Arjun Maini, Oliver Rowland, Heikki Kovalainen, Sergio Perez, and Max Verstappen out there as well, along with everybody else really. Let's have a look at Jones's first sector now. 3/10 down in the first sector. And Jones now then making his way down the hill towards the turn number 6 on the track. Jones now then just flicking the car in. He uses the curb on the outside now then, flicking it in through the left-hander. As now through turn 8 he goes. And let's see what his second split is like. And 6/10 down in the second sector is Jones. So I'd say he probably come around about 9th, I'd say maybe 9th or 10th on this lap. We'll have to wait and see how he hooks up this last sector, as Jones now then through the bus stop chicane. Just over 50 minutes to go now then in the section. Jones up towards the final turn. And let's see what Jones can do. He makes his way out of Lorenzo now then, making his way down the pit straight, and Jones now then will come across the line, and he goes 9th, so I've kind of predicted that correctly. So 9th for him, only 10th for Massa, so maybe Jones had a part to play in that. Ricciardo goes 4th for that lap, so P4 for the Aussie. Here is Valtteri Bottas in the Eldorado. Let's see what Valtteri can do now then in the Eldorado, as he makes his way down the pit straight, and Bottas now then will come across the line. What's the time going to be? And he goes 4th fastest, so P4 for Valtteri. Good time from him there then. Here is Nick de Vries making his way down the pit straight, and he goes 10th fastest, a good time for the Dutchman. Kevin Magnussen does not improve. Ocon slots to 7th with that lap, as we look at Carlos Sainz Jr. there, as going through the first 2 turns. Here is Carlos Sainz Jr. Don't know why we had a bit of lag down the pit straight, I do apologise. Sainz does not improve, as Grosjean improves, but only up into 16th. Maini goes 20th. Rowland doesn't improve. Here is Heikki Kovalainen. Let's see what the Finn can do. Kovalainen slots to 10th. Sergio Perez goes up to 15th with that lap. Here's Max Verstappen in the Martini, heading out of the bus stop chicane. Out of the second to last turn. Verstappen now then up towards this final corner. Let's see what the teenage Dutchman can do as Verstappen makes his way down the pit straight. Is Verstappen going to find some time to improve in the Martini across the line? And he does. He goes up to 2nd. Well, in fact, he stays 2nd, but he's closed the gap between himself and Hamilton to 500 of a second. So Verstappen's showing some good pace in that Martini. Maybe Verstappen could be an outside shot as well. Massa stays 16th. Ricciardo remains in 5th place. Clearly, Massa's still getting held up a little bit there by Ed Jones. As now we look at Bottas heading into the final turn. Let's see what Valtteri can do as he makes his way down the pit straight, and across the line goes the Finn, and he remains 4th. No improvement for him. As here is Nick de Vries making his way down the pit straight, and de Vries will cross the line. Can he improve? No, he can't. Remains in 12th for the moment. Here is Kevin Magnussen. Does not improve either. Esteban Ocon remains 7th. As now here is Romain Grosjean making his way down the pit straight, and Grosjean will cross the line, and he remains 18th for that lap. Arjun Maini remains 21st. Oliver Rowland remains in 20th at this stage, as we now look at Heikki Kovalainen making his way down the pit straight, and Kovalainen remains 10th in the cusp of the top 10. Perez remains 15th. Bud Light Lime still struggling, it must be said. Here is Max Verstappen as he just comes out of these turns now. Then Verstappen up towards the final corner at Lorenzo. Let's see what he can do then on this lap now. Then as Verstappen will come across the line, and he remains second. No improvement for him. As now, let's see now then, anybody else on a lap? I don't think there is. No, there isn't. So we'll go to George Russell, who's preparing for another lap. He obviously made a mistake on his first flying lap, which was unseen by the cameras. That's why he's 4 seconds off the pace. So I expected a little bit more time to come out of the GP2 runner-up from last season, George Russell, as he makes his way down the hill now, then down towards turn 6. He will now go now then as Russell flicks the car in, as he uses a tad bit of curb on the outside through the left-hander he goes. So with 13 minutes gone, this is what the leaderboard looks like. Hamilton fastest, Verstappen second, Hulkenberg third, Bottas fourth, Ricciardo fifth, Magnussen sixth, Ocon seventh, Leclerc eighth, Gasly ninth, Kovalainen 10th, Schumacher 11th, De Vries 12th, Sainz 13th, Jones 14th, Perez 15th, Massa 16th, Rosenquist 17th, Grosjean 18th, Van Dorn 19th, Roland 20th, Maney 21st, and Russell in 22nd position. Russell just making his way out of that bust-up chicane. And so Russell now then up towards the final turn at Lorenzo, and hoping there's no traffic in front so he can actually set a competitive time. Russell down the pit straight and across the line he will go to start his lap now then. Nobody at the end of the pit lane, so Russell can put his foot down, pedal to the metal. Out of turn 1 he goes, and then down to turn 2 will go George, as he just gets out of the turn now. Then through turn 3 he goes, and then into turn 4 as he flicks the car in. Up towards the medium speed turn 5 will go George Russell, as he gets that corner bang on. He's 3 times down in the first sector. I'm not expecting him to match Max Verstappen, of course, but I'm kind of expecting him to be in probably near the top 10 if he can, as Russell makes his way out of turn 6, heading into turn 7 now, then flicking the car in, and then into turn 8 goes the young Brit. Let's see what his second split is like, and he's 5 times down in the second sector, so keeping this up he'll probably end up in around about, I'd say probably around about 9th place, I would think, judging from this lap, but we'll wait and see. Either 9th or 10th, as Russell out of the bus stop now then he goes, and George now then up towards the final corner at Lorenzo, see what he can do, as Russell now then down the pit straight and across the line goes the Martini test driver and Mars Grand Prix driver as well, and he goes up to 10th, so kind of where I predicted anyway. So up to P10 goes George Russell, and pushes Kovalainen down into 11th. Leclerc's out there, as is Hulkenberg and Maney and Kovalainen and Schumacher and Hamilton and Ricciardo and Van Dorn and De Vries. We now look at Gasly, who's 3 turns down in the first sector, and we'll have a look to see what his second split is like before we can come up with any form of conclusion. Through turn 6 goes Gasly now then, as he just swoops around that corner. Through the flat out left-hander he will now go. And Gasly now then through turn 8, as now up towards Angel Nieto, the double right-hander, 6 attempts down in the middle sector. Gasly probably not on for an improvement, but we'll wait and see anyway. Comes out of that corner, and then up towards the bust-up chicane will go Pierre Gasly. Through the right, then the left, and then into the right-hander he goes, as he will soon come out of the second to last turn. Up towards the final corner comes Pierre Gasly. Let's see what the Frenchman can do, as he makes his way out of the final turn down the pit straight. And Gasly now then will come across the line. Can he improve? And no, remains in 9th place for the moment. Felix Rosenquist across the line, and he remains where he is at the moment. His teammate is about to start up along with Massa. It looks like he could get held up again by Ed Jones if he's not careful, so not really set a representative time yet, as Felipe Massa also getting held up in traffic, and he's got 2 Mars Grand Prix cars to worry about in front. Charles Leclerc now then on a clean lap. Let's see what he can do. How close do you think he can get to Hamilton this weekend? Could he even surpass him like he has done in the previous 2 days? Leclerc down the pit straight and across the line goes the Monegasque, and he only goes further that lap, so not even getting anywhere near Hamilton. So 3rd place there for Charles Leclerc, slotting behind Max Verstappen and just in front of Nico Hulkenberg, who, speaking of which, does not improve and remains in 4th place. Maney goes up to 17th, so a slight improvement there for the Indian driver. Heikki Kovalainen now then rounds the final turn. Let's see what Kovalainen can do. Currently in 11th, outpaced by teammate Kevin Magnussen at the moment. Kovalainen crosses the line and he goes up to 9th. So Gasly gets himself into the top. Sorry, Kovalainen gets himself into the top 10. So up to P9 he will go. Mick Schumacher now then heads out the final turn, and we've got a yellow flag down at turn 5 again. So Schumacher will have to wait. We've got a culprit down at turn 5 yet again. Who is it this time? Don't tell me it's Charles Leclerc again. Going around the right, and it is. He's catching a snap of oversteer again into that turn. Again, looking not to sustain some damage. So clearly, Leclerc pushing above his weight, it must be said, and clearly pushing a bit too hard. That's the second time he's now been off at turn 5, and well, I bet Robert Ionescu is wondering what is going on. Schumacher up to 12th he goes, so a slight improvement for him. Hamilton doesn't improve, nor does teammate Ricciardo. Van Dorn across the line, and he goes up to 20th, so a slight improvement for him, but still not great for the AMP. De Vries remains in 13th in the British Airways racing car. Pierre Gasly remains in the cusp of the top 10. Felix Rosenqvist, can he improve on his lap? No improvement. Ed Jones, no improvement. Massa again getting held up, and no improvement for the Brazilian. Here's his teammate for the day, Nico Hulkenberg, as he will now approach the bus stop chicane around the right, then the left, and then into the right hander. He will now go. So Hulkenberg comes out of that second to last turn, then up towards the final corner at Lorenzo. Let's see what Nico can do then on this lap as he makes his way down the pit straight, and Hulkenberg now then will cross the line. Can he improve? And he doesn't. He remains where he is at this stage. Heikki Kovalainen now then up towards the final turn he will go. Can he find a little bit more time in the car to improve? Let's see. Kovalainen out of the final turn, and across the line goes the Finn, and let's see what he can do. No improvement. Does a 1:19.951 to remain in 9th place. As a result, Leclerc coming across the line after his mistake, just getting some miles, and well, that says it all, really. Mick Schumacher, across the line he goes. In the AMP remains 12. Hamilton remains on a 1:18.706. Ricciardo remains in 6th place for the moment. Van Dorn remains 20th. Nick De Vries in the British Airways racing car remains 13th. Coming out on the track now then comes Valtteri Bottas. He's about to come out. As we now look at Ed Jones, he's still got Massa on the back of him now then. The Emirates driver crosses the line to remain where he is at the moment. Massa remains 18th, still not being able to get a clean lap under his belt, really. As now Ocon on a lap now then. We look at Esteban Ocon, he's just started a lap. Through turn 4 he goes, and then up towards the medium speed turn 5 he'll go. And Ocon now then making his way down the hill towards turn 6 he'll go. I didn't quite see there what his first split was like, wasn't really paying attention. Through turn 6 he goes, and then into the left hander we go. Ocon now then just flicking the car in, and then into turn 8, and let's see what his second split is like. And he's 3 turns down in the second sector. Ocon not sure about an improvement, but we'll see. He's coming 8th at the moment in the GRM. Through the right, then the left, and then into the right-hander he goes, flicking the car in. As Ocon now then makes his way into the final turn. Let's see what Esteban can do. So he comes down the pit straight, and Ocon now then will cross the line. Can he improve on his lap? And yes, he can. He goes up to 4th, so he found a lot of time in the last sector. Ocon up into P4 in the GRM, a really good time for the Frenchman. As well, P4 for him then. As now we will look at who we're going to look at next. It's Bottas, who's now started a lap as he makes his way into turn 1 that time by, and then into turn 2 now then. Goes Valtteri. We're 5 minutes away from the 3 o'clock mark for anybody 4 o'clock mark I should say, for anybody wondering. Just under 40 minutes to go now then in this session. Bottas now then up towards the medium speed right-hander, and he's 1/10 down in the first sector. Bottas currently overall 3/10 off Hamilton overall in this session. Let's see what his second split is going to be like. Bottas now then making his way into the quick left-hander, and Bottas just flicking the car in. And let's see what his second split is like, and he's 3/10 down in the second sector. Probably not on for an improvement, just probably getting some miles underneath his belt at the moment. Bottas making his way into the chicane, the right, left, right chicane. As he just makes his way out of the turn. Coming off out of the second to last turn, then up towards the final corner goes Valtteri Bottas. Let's see what Bottas can do. Can he find some time in the last sector, just like Ocon did on the previous lap? Bottas across the line, and he remains in 6th. So no, he can't really. As now we look at Grosjean, he's 3 tenths off in the first sector there. Grosjean currently down in 23rd, so that Bud Light Lime's not really looking good in terms of pace at the moment. They'll probably really need to try and get some upgrades on that car if that is the case, if they want to really bounce up through the field after this test. So up towards the double right hander, 6 tenths down in the second sector that time by. And I don't know, he could be on for an improvement, I don't know. It just, at the moment, because he's down at the back, the rear of the field at the moment, you don't know how that car's set up really in the last sector and what its handling's like. As now, heading out of the second to last turn, up towards the final corner goes Romain Grosjean, as he now makes his way down the pit straight, and Grosjean now then will come across the line. Can he improve? And he can, but only up into 17th place, so not exactly great, and still slotting behind teammate Perez, who's outpaced him for both of the days so far. Here is Carlos Sainz Jr. in the shadow, heading out of the final turn. And Sainz now then currently in 14th and remains 14th for the moment. Valtteri Bottas in the Eldorado across the line to remain where he stands at the minute. As now here is Kevin Magnussen heading into the final turn. As Magnussen now then makes his way down the pit straight. And K-Mag now then will cross the line. Can he improve? No, he can't. Remains where he is at the moment in, where is he? He remains in 8th at this stage, as now Russell crosses the line. And can he improve? No, he can't. Remains in 11th. Sergio Perez makes his way down the pit straight. And Sergio Perez improves to go up to 15th. So still not great, as Roland improves to go up to 18th at the moment. Pushes Van Dorn down to last place. Here's Max Verstappen on the lap. Can he try and overhaul Hamilton at the top across the line? And he only improves, but still behind Hamilton. He's now 47 thousandths behind at the moment. Leclerc doesn't improve, remains in 3rd. Hulkenberg remains 5th at this stage. Romain Grosjean on another lap, heading out of the final turn. Let's see what Grosjean can do. And he remains 17th with that lap. Schumacher about to start a lap in a bit. As now we look at Pierre Gasly. And the Frenchman, can he improve on his lap? He can, but remains in 10th. So, cuts the gap between himself and Hamilton down to 7th. Speaking of Hamilton, he doesn't improve, remains at a 1 minute 18.706. Rosenquist doesn't improve, remains in 21st. Sainz remains 14th at the moment. Here is Kevin Magnussen in the Sauber, currently 8th, ahead of today's teammate Heikki Kovalainen, who have Nico Kari as a teammate tomorrow. I'm pretty sure on that. As now Magnussen heads out of the final turn. Let's see what Magnussen can do. And across the line goes the Dane, and he remains in 8th place for the present moment. George Russell makes his way out of the final turn, and Russell will cross the line. Can he improve on 11th? No, he can't. Remains in P11 at this stage. Sergio Perez makes his way down the pit straight. Perez crosses the line to remain 15th for the present moment. Here's Charles Leclerc on a lap, flicking it through the final turn. And Leclerc now then will cross the line, as he's got Hulkenberg behind him. Leclerc remains 3rd. Hulkenberg remains 5th for the moment in this session. Mick Schumacher up towards the final corner at Lorenzo. And Schumacher now then makes his way down the pit straight. And Schumacher now then will cross the line. And Schumacher does not improve, remains where he is at the moment. Pierre Gasly crossing the line, remains 10th, as Hamilton remains on a 118.706 at the moment. Massa about to come out in a bit, hoping he can get some clear air if he can. Rosenquist remains in 2nd to last at the moment, so clearly not getting the pace out of that car that he wants at this stage, compared to what he did in the Eldorado yesterday, it must be said. Van Dorn out on the track as his teammates on a lap. 4 attempts down in the first sector is Mick Schumacher. Schumacher currently in 12th at the moment, so not bad for them at the moment, but still not great for AMP. It's not exactly where the team want to be at the moment. Schumacher heading out of turn 6 there, and then flicking it in through turn 7. And now into turn 8 will go Mick, flicking the car in. And then up towards the double right-hander, 8 attempts down, so Schumacher probably not on for an improvement. But we'll wait and see anyway. Out of Angel Nieto, and then approaching the bus stop chicane now then. Goes Mick through the right, then the left, then into the right-hander we go. And Schumacher now then out of the second to last corner. And then into Lorenzo we go. Can he just find a little bit of time in the last sector to improve? Just under 34 minutes to go in this session. Schumacher crosses the line and remains in 12th. As now everybody just waiting to get out there at the moment. Here is teammate Stoffel Van Dorn, currently on a lap. Also out there is Massa, and he's hoping to not get held up in traffic as well. As Van Dorn now then into the medium speed turn 5 he goes. Let's see his first split. 4 attempts down in the first sector. Now we'll look in his second sector in a bit to see if he can try and find some time to improve on that dreadful last place. There's Massa. I don't know if he's getting held up there, but unless he's just come out of the pits. He's actually just come out of the pits. So we're hoping that Van Dorn, with the fellow Mercedes engine in the back of him, does not hold him up. As Van Dorn comes out of the turn down and up towards the double right hander, 7 attempts down in the second sector. And heading out of Angel Nieto into the bus stop chicane now then we go. As Van Dorn flicks the car in through the right, then the left, and then into the right. So Van Dorn now then through the second to last turn. And then up towards the final corner will come the Belgian. And so now into the hairpin he goes. Van Dorn down the pit straight. And he's about to cross the line. Can he improve? And no, remains last for the moment. Massa starting a lap. So Mick Schumacher goes back into the pits. This time by a few cars, about to start a lap in a bit. Ricciardo could get held up if he's not careful by Kovalainen. And now we look back at Van Dorn actually, as he's got Massa behind him also on a lap. Out of the section of corners now then we go. As up towards the medium speed turn 5 go both Van Dorn and Massa. Let's see Van Dorn's first sector, 5 attempts down. He's probably not on an improvement. We saw he was 4 attempts down on the previous lap, so I doubt he's on for an improvement anyway. But you never know. Into turn 6 goes Van Dorn. So now he heads out of that corner now then into the quick turn 7, and then into turn 8 will go the Belgian in the bit. Flicking the car in. As Van Dorn now then into the double right hander, and he's 1 second off the pace, so Van Dorn not on an improvement at this stage, as both he and Massa make their way out of Angel Nieto through the bus stop, through the right, then the left, and then Van Dorn just flicking the car in as we ride on board with the Belgian through the second to last turn, and then up towards the final corner will go Stoffel. Massa about to finish the lap in a bit. And let's see what the pair of them can do then. This time by Van Dorn making his way down the pit straight. And across the line he will go. Can he improve? No, he can't. What about Massa? Only up to 18th. So maybe Van Dorn probably held him up a little bit more that time by, but a slight improvement anyway for Massa. Massa not getting any luck with the traffic at all, is he, today? Arjun Maini into the final turn goes the Indian driver, the young Indian. And then into the hairpin he goes. Lorenzo, Maini now then down the pit straight, and the Indian now then will cross the line, and he goes up to 17th, so an improvement there. Then Kovalainen doesn't improve, nor does Ricciardo. Look like he got held up a bit there by Heikki Kovalainen, it must be said. Here is Ed Jones. Out of Lorenzo he goes, and the Emiratti's driver does not improve, remains where he is at the moment. What about Romain Grosjean? Can he improve? He does, but only up to 17th place. Nick de Vries does not improve. Here is Valtteri Bottas. Out of Lorenzo he goes. And let's see what Valtteri can do. Can he improve on his lap? And no, remains 6th, as Ocon remains 4th for the moment. He's doing quite a good job, it must be said, in that car. Magnussen, out of Lorenzo he goes, as he goes down the pit straight. Magnussen will come across the line, and he does not improve. Magnussen remains where he is at this stage, as we now look at Van Dorn, and actually back to Massa, actually, as he made a mistake, actually, because Massa looks to be way off the pace. As yeah, this is way off the pace for Massa. It looks like he's made a mistake somewhere, because he's a little bit further back than what Van Dorn was. So Massa's made a mistake somewhere. This is not really a representative time again. Massa's just not having a look, actually, trying to get a clean lap. Massa remains in 19th for the moment. Here is Carlos Sainz Jr. Just under half an hour to go in the session. We've already passed the 4 o'clock mark. For anybody wondering, Sainz goes up to 13th, so an improvement there then for the Spaniard. Perez remains in 15th, as here is Arjun Maney remaining 18th with that lap. Kovalainen doesn't improve, nor does Ricciardo. Ricciardo getting really held up now by Kovalainen, it must be said. Jones heading out of that final turn. Let's see what the Emirates driver can do. Can he improve? No, he can't. Remains where he is at this stage. As we now look at Grosjean, he remains 17th at this stage. Here is Valtteri Bottas heading out of Lorenzo now then, making his way down the pit straight. Bottas now then, across the line he will go. Can he improve? No, he can't. Bottas remaining where he is at this stage. Verstappen is coming out on the track as Ocon doesn't improve, remaining 4th. Don't take out each other, you two. They had contact again today, didn't they? But it wasn't as severe as what Brazil was. Anyway, Magnussen across the line to remain in 8th. No improvement for him. Here is Ollie Rowland in the British Airways racing car. Can Rowland find some time to improve? He can. He goes up to 15th, so a slight improvement for him there then, as Massa goes back into the pits. Probably getting a little bit frustrated. He can't get a really good lap in at the moment, and not really testing out that car to its full limits. Here is Carlos Sainz making his way into the hairpin there. Sainz making his way down the pit straight. Can he improve on his lap now then across the line? And no, he can't. Remains 13th for the moment. Sergio Perez makes his way down the pit straight, and Perez remains 16th at the present moment, as now we will try and find somebody else on the lap. It will be Verstappen, I think, unless somebody else is on one. It will be Ollie Rowland, actually. I do apologise. As Rowland on his second flying lap of 2 are these sets of laps for the Brit. Now then, through the left-hander goes Ollie Rowland. And let's see what his second split is like. And he's 7 tenths down in the middle sector. And so now that double right-hander he goes. Currently he's 9 tenths off Hamilton at the moment, his fellow compatriot. Through the bus-stop chicane now then goes Rowland, making his way out of that turn. And so now up towards the final corner goes Ollie Rowland. Let's see what he can do, as he now makes his way down the pit straight. And Rowland now then will come across the line. Can he improve? And no, he can't. Remains in 15th for the moment. A few cars coming out on the track in a mo, as Verstappen's on the lap now then, 200ths off Hamilton in the first sector. And it's nothing between them at the moment, only 400 separating Hamilton and Verstappen. This Hamilton has quoted in 2 years now, last year and even this year now, that he wants a championship fight with Verstappen in real life. Maybe he could get it in IFMC, who knows? Only this time Verstappen will have a legal car and not an illegal one. Verstappen actually found a little bit more time there in the second sector, only 2 thousandths off compared to the first sector. He was only 200ths off. So if he can find a little bit more time in the last sector, he could actually knock Hamilton off the top. But let's see now then. Verstappen out of the bus stop chicane now then. This looks to be a very good lap for Max Verstappen. Let's see what the teenage Dutchman can do now then. The Martini now then into the final corner. And onto the pit straight goes Max Verstappen. Can he improve on his lap now then? The Dutchman across the line he goes. Can he improve? And yes, he can. He goes fastest by nearly a 10th of a second there. Verstappen now to the top of the timing sheets by 900ths of a second. So Martini with the Renault power look like they could have a little bit of a say in this season's championship as well. They clearly have finally shown some good pace now. Verstappen really stretching the pace out of that car. Verstappen now to the top of the timing sheet. So a really good time there for Mad Max, and the first person actually to get to the 1 minute 18.6s. So I think he's the one that set the fastest time overall throughout the 3 days so far, ahead of Hamilton and then Leclerc, because I think Hamilton broke it before Verstappen did. As Verstappen's on another lap there, then he was down on his personal best in the first sector, so I wouldn't expect really too much on this lap. He's probably just getting the miles in for Martini, but that might put a smile now on team boss Cameron Anderson, it must be said. And the new look Martini definitely working out well for Max Verstappen at the moment. And clearly he wants to try and get his first legit win this time. He came close last season in San Marino, let's not forget. It pretty much was his race to lose, really. I think a lot of people believe he should have won at San Marino last season had it not been for his engine blowing up. But he's now with Renault, and so far it's working out well for the Italian team. And they're hoping to try and get some trips onto the podium if they can. And maybe even to the top step as well. Verstappen crosses the line, no improvement, remains on a 1:18.607. Hamilton's obviously back out, as is Leclerc, so they'll want to try and knock him off if they can. Rosenquist just starting a lap, Hamilton just starting one as well, as is Van Dorn. Now we look at Pierre Gasly in the Shadow Mercedes, making his way out of that bus stop chicane through the second to last turn. And is that Leclerc behind him at the moment? Probably on the lap. I think it is Leclerc. I think I saw a little bit of red on his helmet. So heading out of the final turn there then goes Pierre Gasly as he makes his way down the pit straight, and Gasly will cross the line and he does not improve. What about Leclerc? He remains third for the moment, so no improvement for him. As here is Russell, 6/10 off his teammate in the middle sector. Could be on for an improvement, but we'll wait and see what the Brit does anyway. Into the bus stop he goes, through the right, then the left, then into the right. Russell using the curb on the outside a tad bit there then, as now Russell makes his way up towards the final turn. And so Russell now then makes his way down the pit straight, and George Russell will come across the line. Can he improve? And no, he can't. Remains in 11th for the moment. Arjun Maney across the line, and he remains where he is at the moment in 19th. Here's Nico Hulkenberg. Can he improve? No, remains 5th. At this stage, Mick Schumacher across the line. Schumacher remains 12th. Ricciardo about to start lap. Here's Felipe Massa again. Looks like he made another mistake on track. So he's 3 seconds off that time by. So Massa with another mistake, it seems. So Massa struggling in this session. It must be said to really get a clean lap in. That's another mistake he's made. Massa getting no luck whatsoever. Rosenquist didn't improve. Hamilton doesn't even remain second with that lap. Van Dorn doesn't improve. Remains in last at this stage. Here comes Pierre Gasly, making his way up towards the final turn. And Gasly now then heading down the pit straight. Can Gasly improve on this lap? Across the line he will go, and he can't. Remains where he is at the moment. Leclerc remains in where he is at the moment. Leclerc remains third at this stage. As now De Vries is on a lap through the bus stop chicane. He will go, the young Dutchman, making his way out of that bus stop chicane now through the second to last turn, and then up towards the final corner. They will come now then on the racetrack, and De Vries now then out of Lorenzo, as De Vries now then crosses the line, and he remains where he is at the moment, which is where is he at the moment? Remains in 14th at this stage of testing. Russell remains 11th, no improvement for him. As we now look at Nico Hulkenberg, who's on a lap. Can Hulkenberg improve on his lap? No, he can't. Remains 5th for the moment. Here is Mick Schumacher on a lap, and the German crosses the line to remain in 12th. Daniel Ricciardo remains in 7th place at this stage. Massa remains 20th. Still not able to get a clean lap underneath his belt, can he? Rosenquist does not improve. Remains where he is. Kovalainen remains 9th. Hamilton remains 900ths off Verstappen at the moment. They said Vern by accident. Van Dorn doesn't improve. What about, we look at De Vries again now then in the British Airways racing car, as he now makes his way into turn 8 now then, and then up towards the double right-hander of Engel Nieto, 8 down in the middle sector. De Vries currently 1 second off Verstappen at the moment, as he now makes his way into the bus stop chicane. And now into the bus stop chicane, out of the bus stop chicane we go, as they now make their way up towards the final 2 turns. Let's see what De Vries can do as he makes his way out of that final turn, and onto the pit straight goes the Dutchman, and De Vries will now cross the line. Can he improve? And no, he can't. Remains where he is at this stage of testing, as now here is Ed Jones about to start a lap in a little bit, as people now coming into the pits. Here's Daniel Ricciardo on a lap, as the Australian makes his way into Lorenzo, the final turn. And Ricciardo down the pit straight. Can Danny Rick improve on his lap? Across the line goes the Australian now then, and he does not improve. Remains where he is at the moment. And Heikki Kovalainen now then heading down the pit straight. Kovalainen across the line. He will now go, and Kovalainen does not improve at the moment and remains where he is at this stage. As now here is Jones on a lap now, then 3/10 off in the first sector. Jones currently 1.1 seconds off Verstappen overall. Just over 20 minutes to go now then in this session, and so far this is what the leaderboard looks like. Verstappen fastest, Hamilton second, Leclerc third, Ocon fourth, Hulkenberg fifth, Bottas sixth, Ricciardo seventh, Magnussen eighth, Kovalainen ninth, Gasly 10th, Russell 11th, Schumacher 12th, Sainz 13th, followed by De Vries 14th, Rowland 15th, Perez 16th, Jones 17th, Grosjean 18th, Maney 19th, Massa 20th, Rosenquist in 21st, and Van Dorn in 22nd position. So that's how that looks at the moment. Jones making his way out of that bus stop chicane. As now Jones will make his way into Lorenzo now then, into the hairpin he goes. As Jones now then comes down the pit straight. And Jones will now cross the line. Can he improve? And he can, but only up to 17th place. A lot of cars come out of the pit lane that time by. Here's Esteban Ocon in the GRM. So it looks like there could be a clog down at near the pit lane actually in the first few turns on the racetrack. Here is Ocon now then, his second split, 3/10 off in the second sector. And I'm not sure about an improvement, but we'll wait and see as Ocon makes his way out of that double right-hander. And then up to the bus stop chicane we go now, then flicking it in through the right, then the left, then into the right-hander we go. And now up towards the final two turns go Ocon. Let's see what he can do on this lap as he makes his way up towards Lorenzo now then, the final turn on the racetrack. As Ocon now then makes his way down the pit straight, and the Frenchman now then will come across the line. Can he improve? No, he can't. Remains where he is at this stage. So that's that for him. Sainz, a few cars about to start a lap in a bit. Jones going back in. Perez might, well, luckily won't get held up because Jones is coming back in, isn't he? We look at Bottas, 1/10 down in the first sector. We'll have a look and see what the rest of the splits are like then for the Finn, as he now makes his way into the right-hander. And Bottas, along with Perez, have got victories in the Eldorado car. Bottas getting 2 in Season 3. Perez getting 1 on a technicality last season. Will Leclerc try and add it as a bit of a lock-up there from Valtteri Bottas as he gets some understeer into Angel Nieto, showing he's pushing hard. 3/10 down in the second sector. He was probably not on for an improvement anyway, but that pretty much confirms it now with that lock-up into Angel Nieto. As Bottas now then makes his way up towards the final turn. Let's see what he can do. Heading out of the Lorenzo corner now then. Bottas across the line he goes, and he remains where he is at this stage. So now here is Carlos Sainz Jr. rounding the double right-hander on the racetrack. So now Carlos Sainz Jr. now then will make his way into the bus stop chicane through the right, then the left, then into the right, and now out of that second to last turn. Sainz will come up now then towards the final corner, and Sainz now then down at the pit straight, and the Spaniard now then will come across the line, and he does not improve as Leclerc just starts a lap in the Eldorado. Grosjean goes up to 13th, so a bigger improvement than what we've seen before. Verstappen doesn't improve on his fastest time. Magnussen remains where he is. Perez remains where he is as well. Grosjean finally finding some time to outpace Perez at the minute. Here is Pierre Gasly. Just over 17 minutes to go now then in this session, with 10 minutes away from the half past 4 mark. Gasly goes up to 9th, so an improvement for him there. Then Russell remains 11th, so still just outside the top 10 at the minute. Here is Ollie Rowland in the British Airways racing car. Rowland remains in where is he at the moment? Remains in 16th. Hulkenberg starts a lap. Valtteri Bottas on his next lap. See what the thing can do across the line. And he remains 6th for the moment. Mick Schumacher about to come out onto the track. A few more cars about to do a lap in a bit. Sainz way off at the moment. 9/10 off in the second sector. So clearly not on for an improvement at the moment. I wonder if Leclerc is at the moment. He's currently behind the shadow at the moment. Out of the bus stop chicane we go. And Sainz now then will make his way up towards Lorenzo. which is the final turn. And Sainz, let's see if he can find a little bit more time in the car to improve. As Sainz now then will come across the line. Can he improve? No, he can't, and nor can Leclerc. Leclerc remains third. At the moment, Grosjean across the line remains where he is, as does Max Verstappen. Magnussen remaining in 8th place, as Perez remains 17th down the order. Here's Pierre Gasly in the shadow. As Gasly now then will come across the line. What can the Frenchman do? He remains in 9th place. Russell remains where he is at the moment in 11th. As here is Ollie Rowland making his way out of the final turn, and Rowland crosses the line to remain where he is at the moment. Hülkenberg remains in 5th. Mick Schumacher about to start a lap in a little bit. Felix Rosenqvist now then up towards the final turn he will go, and Rosenqvist now then down the pit straight and across the line he will now go, and he improves but remains in 25th position. Still not exactly great for him now then. Lewis Hamilton out of that bus stop chicane. I don't know if he made a little bit of a mistake there. Probably got a little bit of wheel spin out of that car. I'm not 100% sure on that. But Hamilton now then down the pit straight, and the Brit now then will come across the line. Can he improve? And no, he can't. Remains in 2nd. Isn't able to beat Verstappen off the top that time by. Speaking of Verstappen, he's going back into the pits this lap. Here's Hülkenberg now then on a lap, flicking the car in through the left-hander. Let's see what his second split is like. 7 tenths down in the second sector. Hülkenberg just getting a mileage from the season. Plus, looks like he's getting a little bit held up as well by the British Airways racing car of Ollie Rowland in front. Hülkenberg now then through the bus stop, and so now into the section of corners he goes. As he will now make his way into the right-hander. Hülkenberg now then up towards Lorenzo he will go. Let's see if he can find a little bit of time to improve. Heading out of Lorenzo he goes down the pit straight, and Hülkenberg now then will come across the line. Can he improve? And no, he can't. Remains where he is at this stage. So that's that for Nico Hülkenberg. Mick Schumacher now then out of the final turn at Lorenzo. Schumacher now then across the line he goes. Let's see what he can do. Can he improve? No, he can't. Schumacher remains in 12th position, as Felix Rosenqvist remains in 21st. So he remains where he is at this stage. Lewis Hamilton, let's see if he can find a little bit of time left to improve. Let's see what Lewis can do. Can he find a little bit of time to improve on his lap at the moment? Hamilton across the line, he will now go, and Lewis remains in 2nd place. So that's that for him at the moment. As we now look back at Schumacher, who's 4 tenths down in the 2nd sector that time by. Schumacher now makes his way into the right-hander, as he will now make his way through this next left-hander he goes through turn 7, and then into turn 8 will go Mick. Let's see what his second split is like, and he's 7 tenths down in the middle sector through the double right-hander we go, as Schumacher now then makes his way into the bus stop chicane, flicking the car in through these section of corners. As Mick now then through the second to last corner now then, and up towards the final turn will go the German. Let's see what Mick Schumacher can do as he flicks the car in through the final turn, and onto the pit straight he will go. And Mick Schumacher now then does not improve, remains where he is at the moment in 12th position. There's now is Stoffel Van Dorn as he makes his way around turn 7, and so now into turn 8 we go, and let's see what his second split is like. He's 7 tenths down in the 2nd sector, and now through the double right-hander we go, and let's see what he can do in the bus stop chicane. Very clean through into those section of corners. 5 minutes to go until we reach the 4:30 mark. As Van Dorn now then, can he get out of that dreadful last place if he can? Into Lorenzo he goes, heading down the pit straight, and Van Dorn will come across the line, And he does not, well, in fact, he does improve, but not on position. He remains still in last, still a few thousandths off Van Dorn. Is Massa going to get a clean lap? And he will do, so we'll see what Massa can do, providing he doesn't make a mistake, of course, on the track as Ocon goes through the final turn. And here is Nick de Vries then. Here's his second split now then. The Dutchman, let's say, he's 6 tenths down in the second sector. And so far, de Vries 1 second off overall, down in 15th. So let's see if he does improve on his lap. Through the bus stop we go, flicking the car in through the section of turns. So de Vries rounds the final 2 corners. Let's see what the Dutchman can do. And de Vries now then heading out of the final corner and onto the pit straight he will go, and de Vries now then will come across the line. Let's see if he can improve. And he can. He goes up to 14th, so a big improvement there then for Nick de Vries. Maney crosses the line to remain where he is, so does Kovalainen. Here is Ricciardo, remains in 7th place as Magnussen starts his next lap. As Roland about to come out on track in a little bit. Here is Stoffel Van Dorn on another lap, as now Van Dorn makes his way into the final turn. And Van Dorn making his way down the pit straight, and Van Dorn is going to come across the line, and he does not improve. Here's Felipe Massa down the pit straight. Can he improve on his lap? Across the line, and he does, to go up into 8th place. So he gets into the top 10. Jones improves to go up to 19th, so a slight improvement for him there then. As Perez just about to start a lap, here comes Esteban Ocon. Can the Frenchman improve on his lap? Ocon across the line, and he goes up to 3rd. So a big improvement there then from Ocon. He gets up to P3 with that lap. So the GRM looking like it's going to finally show a little bit more pace that it seemed to be lacking the last 2 days after the good performance it showed at Paul Ricard. Ocon getting it up into 3rd place, as here is Nick de Vries in the British Airways racing car. Just under 10 minutes to go now then, here for day 3 at RF. Nick de Vries now then into Lorenzo corner, which is the final turn on the track, and de Vries now then making his way down the pit straight, and Nick de Vries now then is going to come across the line. Can he improve? And no, he can't. Remains 15th for that lap. Romain Grosjean gets a check of ice to his name to remain in 14th. He's got 1 more lap to do. Maney remains where he is in 20th. Kovalainen remains 11th. Ricciardo remains 7th. Magnussen, who gets a check of ice to his name, remains in 9th, so he's got 1 more lap to do. Here's Felipe Massa. Through the bus stop chicane he will go. The Brazilian flicking it in through that right-hander there then, as Massa now then up towards the final corner. Let's see what Felipe can do. And Massa now then down the pit straight and across the line will go. Felipe, can he improve on his lap? And no, he can't. Remains 8th with that lap there. Then Jones remains 19th. Here is Sergio Perez on a fresh lap. Can he improve upon that dreadful 18th? Checo crosses the line and he goes up to 17th. So a slight improvement. Gets the Checo value in his name. So he's got 1 more lap to do. Ocon remains 3rd. No improvement for him. Valtteri Bottas. Across the line he goes in the Eldorado. And he remains 6th with that lap. And so Roland about to start one in a bit. Here is Carlos Sainz Jr. Out of the second to last turn. Sainz now then into the final turn he goes. The Spaniard now then flicking it in through Lorenzo. Sainz now then comes across the line. Can he improve on his lap? And no, he can't. Sainz remains in 16th place. For the moment here is Romain Grosjean, currently 14th, and remains 14th. For the moment here is Kevin Magnussen. Across the line he will go, and he remains where he is at this stage, which is 9th place. Here is Sergio Perez on another lap, on his final flying lap it should be said, because he's got the checkered flag next to his name. Up towards the bus stop we go, and now at the 4:30 mark for anybody wondering, as Perez now then into the bus stop he goes, flicking the car out of that turn. And let's see if Perez can find a little bit more time to improve, otherwise he will be outpaced by Grosjean for the first time this season, it must be said, in a preseason test as well. As Perez now then crosses the line, and he remains 17th, so Grosjean will outpace him today for once, as but still not 100% great for Bud Light Lime, considering the 14th and 17th, so not good for them. As now we look at Ollie Rowland. Into the final turn he goes in the British Airways racing car. See if the Brit can find a little bit of time in the car to improve. As Rowland crosses the line, can he improve? And no, he can't. Remains 18th. Gets the checkered flag next to his name, so he'll be finishing off after the lap he's doing. So Verstappen's out there now then on the track. We'll have to look at Rowland again because nobody else is on a lap. We'll be hoping that Rosenquist in front doesn't hold him up. He's currently down in 21st position. He's even been outpaced by his test driver teammate Ed Jones today, so he's not had quite a good session as Felix Rosenquist, the Season 4 IFMC GP2 champion. Who else has just got the checkered flag? His name Carlos Sainz Jr. has, so he's going to be finishing off for the day. So that's that for him. As now Ollie Rowland comes down the hill towards turn number 6 on the racetrack, flicking the car in. As Rowland now then uses the curb on the outside as he flicks the car in through the left-hander. As Rowland now then through turn 8. And he's 1.1 seconds off in the second sector, so Rowland clearly not on anything special at the moment as he's 1 second off in overall compared to himself and Max Verstappen. So Rowland probably just adding some miles on for British Airways Racing if he can. The team now ran by Daniel Makama, and the team formerly known as Monster Grand Prix when it was owned briefly by Daniel Makama as well, but for the majority of its life by Waze Cuba until he handed over the reins at the beginning of Season 4 to Daniel Makama. As here is Oliver Rowland. Across the line he will go. Can he improve? And no, he can't. Rowland remains in 18th place, so that's that for him. As Leclerc is preparing himself in a bit. Verstappen getting held up, it seems, by Pierre Gasly, so probably not on an improvement. And no, look at the second split now. You can just see it now, 1.3 seconds off. You didn't even need to wait for it to come up to know he was off the pace. Gasly really holding up Verstappen, possibly on his penultimate flying lap, but we'll wait and see as the pair then make their way through the bus stop chicane. Max won't be pretty happy with this one as he comes out of that bus stop chicane now then up towards the hairpin now then. Of Lorenzo goes Verstappen. Let's see if he can just improve. And just over 5 minutes to go now then in this session as Verstappen makes his way down the pit straight, and the Dutchman now then crosses the line and he does not improve, remains on a 118.607. He doesn't know well that, but he's still going to get held up by Pierre Gasly. So we now look at his teammate for the day, George Russell. Russell probably not on an improvement because he just said there he was 8 tenths down in the second sector, so Russell probably not on anything special at the moment as he now just comes out of that second to last turn. And Russell now then into the hairpin he goes. And let's see what George can do. He makes his way down the pit straight, and George Russell now then crosses the line. Can the Brit improve? And let's see, he does not. So Russell remains 12th with that lap. Hulkenberg just starting the lap behind him. Rosenquist remains 21st. Gets a check value to his name, so he'll be finishing off in a bit. Massa just starting the lap, as will De Vries. As Leclerc is 1/10 down in the second sector. So Leclerc could improve. If he can keep it up, he'll probably just get up into 3rd place. But I don't think he's going to top the session today from the looks of it. As Leclerc now then through the second to last turn. Let's see what the Monegasque can do anyway. As he makes his way into the final corner and onto the pit straight he goes. And across the line now then goes Charles Leclerc. He does improve, but in fact only remains in 4th. So he lost quite a lot of time in that last sector to remain 4th. He gets a checkered flag next to his name, so he's got one more lap to complete. Gasly, across the line he goes, currently 10th. And he stays 10th, and he's got one more lap to do. And Verstappen's done for the day. Remains on a 1:18.607 that time by. As it looks like Mick Schumacher there just had a flick of oversteer coming out of that chicane, so he had to quickly adjust himself there going out of that turn. So that's probably going to cost the teenage German a lot of time. It looks like the two Etiads are holding up each other, so that's not good to see. I don't think Oliver Glazer will be happy about that one. It's Ricciardo in front of Hamilton. Hamilton does not improve. Gets a check of value to his name. Ricciardo starting a lap now then. So, yeah, I wonder if the pair then will interrupt each other's laps there. Then Maney remains 20th. Van Dorn remains last. Gets one more lap to do. Hulkenberg with a check of value to his name remains in 5th. No improvement. Russell doesn't improve. Nor does Rosenquist. What about Massa? No improvement. Check of value to his name. One more lap to do for the Brazilian veteran. There's De Vries now then. Through the bus stop chicane he goes. Just over 3 minutes to go now then in this session. As De Vries now then coming up towards the final turn. Let's see what the young Dutchman can do. As he just comes out of Lorenzo now. They're making his way down the pit straight, and De Vries, can he find some time to improve? And no, he can't. De Vries remaining in 15th with that lap. Leclerc crosses the line, remains 4th. No improvement for him. Gasly, one more lap to do for him, as Verstappen, who he was holding up, just flicks into the pits, but it looks like he's going to finish the day top anyway, and that's a smile on Cameron Anderson's face, I'm pretty sure, as Pierre Gasly does not improve, remains in 10th position. Here is Mick Schumacher up towards the penultimate corner, and then into the final turn he goes. Ricciardo, looks like Hamilton has not held him up too much, but we'll wait and see. I don't know if Hamilton tried to pass him somewhere on the track, as Mick Schumacher now then down the pit straight, and the German will cross the line, and he does not improve. Ricciardo doesn't improve to remain 7th. Got one more lap to do. Check if that's his name. Hamilton finishes off, remains in 2nd place with that lap. As here is Arjun Maini, remains 20th for the moment. Van Dorn doesn't improve, still last, so a disappointing day for him. Hulkenberg remains 5th. Felipe Massa, his teammate for today, across the line he goes, and he remains 8th on his final flying lap. As a mistake for Nick De Vries. He's gone off at Angel Nieto. Let's see what on earth happened. So, locks up, understeers off, and then goes for and gets stuck in the gravel. So, that's that really. So, that's his final flying lap wrecked for Nick De Vries. As Leclerc, he thought for a minute he hold him up, but Leclerc's going back into the pits, isn't he? So, we don't need to really worry about him too much. De Vries through the bus stop chicane he goes. So he just flicks it in through the section of turns. De Vries now then through the second to last corner. As De Vries now then will flick it to the left. In fact, he's finishing off the lap, isn't he? Still trying to get some miles on the British Airways Racing belt, despite the fact that his lap has already been compromised as a result. De Vries crosses the line, does not improve, remains where he is at the moment. Ricciardo just finishing off his final line lap, despite the fact he's holding up his own teammate at the moment. Lewis Hamilton has outpaced him. Actually, in all the days of tests so far, clearly Ricciardo still needs to really get up to speed with his new teammate, Lewis Hamilton. As Ricciardo makes his way out of that bus stop chicane, and flicking it to the left there went, I can't remember who it was actually. I think it was one of the AMPs if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that. Ricciardo on his final flying lap crossed the line just under a minute to go now then in the session, and he remains in 7th place. And who's about to cross the line? It's Heikki Kovalainen, but he remains 11th. One more lap to do. He's just got the checkered flag next to his name. A few more cars going out. They'll be allowed because of how X-Patch works. Same with Ed Jones as we're looking at there. Here is Kovalainen now then on the lap as he flicks the car in through turn 2. Then into turn 3 he goes. Uses the curb on the outside there. Then Kovalainen up towards the medium speed turn 5. He will now go up towards. Sparks coming off the back off the fin now then. 3 temps off in the first sector as he makes his way down the hill towards turn 6, which is where Schumacher and Villeneuve had their infamous collision 21 years ago now. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Checkered flag is out, and that is the end of the session. People will finish off because of how X-Patch works, or start their 2 laps. Kovalainen there then, 5 tenths down in the middle sector. Could be on for an improvement, depends how he hooks up this last sector of course, but today looks like he's going to get outpaced by Magnussen, it seems, with at the moment Gasly splitting the 2 swarmies, but will Kovalainen change that as he now approaches the final corner at Lorenzo. Kovalainen now then down the pit straight and across the line goes the Finn. Can he improve on that lap? And he can't. Kovalainen remains in 11th place. Here's Ocon now then, making his way out of Lorenzo there then to start his final 2 laps. Same with Bottas as well. We now look at Jones, who's 6 tenths down in the middle sector. And now through the bus stop chicane goes the Emiratti's driver. And he just uses the curb a bit on the outside now then up towards Lorenzo. Then goes Jones. Let's see what he can do. Flicking the car in through the hairpin. And Ed Jones now then across the line. He will go. Can he improve? No. Well, he actually does. He improves, but remains in 19th. So only taking a few chunks out. He's got one more lap to do because, as I mentioned, that's just how X-Patch works, I'm afraid. Here is Ocon currently 3rd. Can he try and pressurise Hamilton and Verstappen in front with his final 2 laps? As Ocon now then flicks the car in through turn 7 and then into turn 8 he'll go. And Ocon now then up towards the double right-hander. And he's 2 temps down in the second sector. And out of that turn he goes then up towards the bus stop chicane. Ocon flicking the car in through the chicane now then he goes. And out of that turn he goes now then using the curb on the outside. And then up towards the final turn at Lorenzo goes Esteban Ocon. Can he find a little bit of time to improve in that GRM? Ocon now then down the pit straight, and Esteban Ocon is going to cross the line. Can he improve? And no, he can't. Remains in 3rd place with that lap. Valtteri Bottas now then looks like he made a mistake on his lap there. It looks like he got a bit of understeer out of the bus stop, which put him in a bad position out of that second to last turn. Bottas now then, can he improve either way? Across the line, and no, he can't. Remains in 6th place. 1 more lap to do for him. Here's Ed Jones on his final flying lap, heading down the pit straight, and across the line will go the Emirates's driver, and he remains 19th with that lap. Ocon, 1 more lap to do for him, same with Bottas behind, 2 temps down in the first sector, as he now makes his way around the hairpin at turn 6. And Ocon now then through turn 7 and then up towards turn 8 will go the Frenchman. And so now up towards the double right-hander at Angel Nieto. Let's see what Ocon can do. Stroll out, sorry, not Stroll, that's the man that's replacing him at Force India, isn't it? Well, not officially, but it's obvious, isn't it? Anyway, Ocon now then through the last 2 turns on the racetrack. Let's see what Ocon can do now that as he makes his way into the final corner at Lorenzo. Ocon down the pit straight and across the line goes the Frenchman. Can he improve? And no, he can't. Remains in 3rd. Bottas now then, on his final flying lap, makes his way into the final turn and onto the pit straight he will now go. Bottas, can he improve? The Finn crosses the line, and no, he can't. Remains in 6th place, and that is going to do it. That is the end of day 3 here at Jerez. So after all of that, here is the results of day 3 here at Jerez. Verstappen was fastest with Hamilton 2nd, Ocon 3rd, Leclerc 4th, Hulkenberg 5th, Bottas 6th, Ricciardo 7th, Massa 8th, Magnussen 9th, Gasly 10th, Kovalainen 11th, Russell 12th, Schumacher 13th, Grosjean 13th, with De Vries 15th, Sainz 16th, Perez 17th, Rowland 18th, Jones 19th, Maney 20th, Rosenquist 21st, and Van Dorn in 22nd position. So we'll wait for Ocon and Bottas to come back into the pits. We'll then remind you of what the results are, and then we'll conclude today's live stream there then. We'll just double click on that. You might see it briefly, which you do. I do apologise. Just flick it over there. There we go, and we've got some encoding problems there. Just a brief amount of encoding problems. Looks like my laptop's starting to overheat a bit using too much CPU. That's usually why it encodes. For anybody wondering, the reason why it does encode is sometimes the CPU is running a little bit up to temperatures at the moment. But it's cooled down now a bit. Hopefully it doesn't come back. As now Bottas makes his way into the left-hander. And it should then go back to the main menu screen, which it does. So there you have it then. That is the end of day number 3 here at Jerez. A reminder then of what the leaderboard looked like. It was Max Verstappen fastest with Lewis Hamilton 2nd, Esteban Ocon 3rd, Charles Leclerc 4th, Nico Hulkenberg 5th, Valtteri Bottas 6th, Daniel Ricciardo 7th, Felipe Massa 8th, Kevin Magnussen 9th, Pierre Gasly 10th, Heikki Kovalainen 11th, George Russell 12th, Mick Schumacher 13th, Romain Grosjean 14th, Nick De Vries 15th, Carlos Sainz Jr. 16th, Sergio Perez 17th, Oliver Rowland 18th, Ed Jones 19th, Arjun Maney 20th, Felix Rosenquist 21st, and Stoffel Van Dorn in 22nd and last. So there you have it then, guys. That has been it for day 3 here at Jerez. Hope you enjoyed. It's been a very interesting session indeed, especially with Verstappen looking to be quite a challenger as well in this season's championship. Will he keep that up? Well, we'll have to wait and see really. But until then, guys, that has been it. I hope you enjoyed it. We will see you then, guys, tomorrow at a later time of 6 PM GMT for the final day of pre-season testing, not just here at Jerez, for the final pre-season testing as a whole before the start of the new season. But until then, that has been it. Hope you enjoyed it. So thank you very much for watching. I've been JWF1, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for the final preseason test before the start of the new season. Till then, take care.